Star Wars 7x7 episode 2135. Today, we're going to update you on some Star Wars news. It's been a while since we've checked in on the news front, and some stuff happened on May the 4th that's probably worth a little bit of your attention. Punch it! Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod, and this is Star Wars 7x7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy. And thank you so much for joining me for it. So, May the 4th has come and gone, and there were a couple of big releases on that day. For example, the Rise of Skywalker coming to Disney Plus a couple of months earlier than anticipated. The final episode of The Clone Wars, Victory and Death, and also the debut of the 8-part mini-documentary series Disney Gallery: The Mandalorian, which we will talk about at a future date on the show. But there was also a big announcement from StarWars.com, and it confirmed rumors that had already been kicking around out there that had been reported in the Hollywood trade. So in one sense, it wasn't anything that was a surprise that we hadn't heard of before, but on the other hand, it's certainly nice to have the official confirmations on these things. For the more recent rumor, Leslie Headland, who was the creator of the show Russian Doll on Netflix, she has been confirmed as the creator, executive producer, and showrunner for a new Disney Plus series, a female-centric Disney Plus series that is in development. There is no release date on it yet, but we had that trade report confirmed. And there was an earlier report back in January that Taika Waititi was in talks to develop a Star Wars movie. Well, that has been confirmed as well. There was a bit of new news that accompanied this announcement. It's that there will be a co-writer on Taika's movie, and her name is Krysty Wilson-Cairns. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right, Krysty. My apologies if not. And she, most recently, and most spectacularly, I would say, was nominated for a Screenplay Academy Award for her work on 1917, the Sam Mendes war drama. And she has a movie that is in post-production. Supposedly it's going to come out in September. Fingers crossed, with the global health crisis, as it's referred to by various Hollywood companies and whatnot. But it's called Last Night in Soho, and she co-wrote it with Edgar Wright based on her own original story, and it is a horror movie, and Edgar Wright is the director of it. And she also worked on the Penny Dreadful TV series. I'm personally not familiar with that, but I've heard wonderful things about it from time to time. So she definitely has a good track record for doing some interesting stuff, if it is a short track record by comparison, but that's okay. I think we saw the same thing with what's his name? Joby Harold, who is the new writer on the Kenobi series. He also didn't exactly have the laundry list of credits either. So hey, they must be doing something right because they got the gigs, and getting nominated for an Oscar is a pretty sweet thing, I would say. So yeah, good on Krysty Wilson-Cairns and good on Lucasfilm for getting her to be involved with this project. Now here's the thing. They didn't announce the release date for this movie either. However, if you look on IMDb, they actually have this slotted into the 2024 Star Wars release. They have the date exactly right, December 20th of 2024. Where they got that? I don't know, because the official Star Wars news release says that release dates haven't been announced yet. But I will say that because of everything going on with the coronavirus and whatnot, Disney and other studios as well have been moving around their movie release schedules and whatnot. The most recent update that I can find from Disney is at the beginning of April of 2020, and on that update, the Star Wars 2022 release, December 16th of 2022, is still on the calendar. They only published in that update in April their calendar through the end of 2022, but we know from previous updates that there's supposed to be one in 2024 and 2026. Anyway, for some reason, IMDb is reporting that this is going to be the 2024 movie. I don't think that's been confirmed anywhere yet, but take that for what you will. If it is legit, then it still leaves us with the burning question, what's happening in 2022? And something must still be happening in 2022 because Disney didn't pull that date off the calendar. So why not? So that's what's been officially announced, and how, what else we know plays into all of that. As far as stuff that's rumored and stuff that's been tantalizingly hinted at, well, there is a rumor going around that Jon Favreau is already working on scripts for season 3 of The Mandalorian, and that they are already in pre-production on a new season for the show, which suggests that they have already given the green light to that at Disney Plus, which would be fabulous. Hopefully that's based on what they're seeing in post-production for what's going on with season 2. I don't know. It's a very hopeful sign, I would say, but there hasn't been an official season 3 announcement just yet. So keep your fingers crossed. I think it's probably a pretty likely thing to happen, but so far it's still not an official thing. Meanwhile, on the animation side of the house, there was a very cool tweet that came from Gianni Aliati, and he is a supervisor of lighting and FX for Lucasfilm Animation, working on the Clone Wars. He tweeted out in mid-April that he was so grateful to see all the love for Clone Wars, and he said, keep loving them and we'll make more. And he also said, fear not, we at Lucasfilm Animation are still going strong even during COVID-19. So you could, I suppose, read that, the keep loving him and we'll make more situation, and think, does that mean they could do more Clone Wars? But I mean, Dave Filoni has been pretty clear that he got to finish Clone Wars. It's what he wanted to do. And so that, as they say, is that, at least. That's what I would think. Yes, I know there are still unproduced story arcs out there, and they could certainly be done in other formats, but I think what this really means, this whole notion of Lucasfilm is still going strong even during COVID-19, I think he's talking about the fact that they are probably working on a new series that is going to develop in the fall. And this is the way that it has been for Lucasfilm Animation for a number of years. Don't forget, Star Wars Resistance just ended in the winter/spring. Gosh, it's been so long, I can barely remember when the last episode was. I think it was in February. But usually, at least from Star Wars Rebels to Star Wars Resistance, they jumped right in. Rebels ended in the spring, and Resistance started that following fall. And so there's every reason to think, and it's been rumored, it's been kicked around, that there's going to be another Star Wars animated series coming in the fall of 2020, that it's possibly a sequel to Rebels, perhaps, which would suggest the possibility that Ahsoka and Sabine would be involved in it. But that all is really iffy and up in the air. I do think that we can take this tweet as a strong indicator that Lucasfilm Animation is still on track to debut a new TV series, and it just is a function of whether it's going to be on broadcast television or Disney Plus sometime in the fall of 2020. And speaking of fall 2020, just circling back to The Mandalorian Season 2, since we just skipped right to Season 3, so far there's still been no indication that anything is different with Season 2. It's still going to debut in October of 2020. That is everything that we know. No indication that it's changing, which is really nice and gives us something to look forward to. And that right there is your update on Star Wars news that has been breaking over the past couple of weeks, and that is going to do it for this show as well. If you don't subscribe for free to the podcast already, I hope you will consider hitting that subscribe button wherever you happen to see it, on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube if you're watching it on video as well. It definitely helps make the podcast better known and has the opportunity to get it in front of more eyeballs if you are subscribing to it and not just downloading it randomly here and there. So I hope you will consider doing that. And that is it. That's what I got for you today. Thank you so much for joining me, as always, and may the curve be flattening for you wherever in the world you may be.
This podcast is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox. It is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other related Star Wars items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the force be with them. All original content is copyright 2019 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.